MLBJacob Shafer at Jacob's Hafer featured columnist January 30, 2019 met Slocum, Associated Press with spring training fast approaching. Multiple top-tier free agents and trade targets are flapping in the breeze. Such is the reality of today's slow-developing MLB offseason market. While we wait, let's examine the best acquisition each team can make between now and opening day. The easy answer for all 30 clubs would be, sign the best available player, but we factored in each team's budget, needs and status, rebuilding, retooling or going all in, plus any credible recent rumors. In some cases, it means blockbusters. In others, it means lower-level pickups. Adjust your expectations accordingly. J.C. Hong, Associated Press. Baltimore Orioles, LHP Wade Miley. Let's face it, the Baltimore Orioles aren't going to make any significant acquisitions as they lurch into year one of a painful, overdue rebuild. Still, the O's could stand to fill out their starting rotation with low-cost, veteran arms who can chew innings and possibly draw at least a modest return at the July 31st non-waiver trade deadline. Enter Wade Miley, a former Oriole who won't command top dollar but posted a promising 2.57 ERA in 80.2 innings for the Milwaukee Brewers last season. Boston Red Sox, RHP Craig Kimbrel. Defending MLB champion Boston Red Sox need a closer. Their most recent closer, seven-time All-Star Craig Kimbrel, is unsigned. It seems like a natural marriage. Sure, any long-term deal for Kimbrel could sting on the back end since he's entering his age 31 season. Paying a reliever for what they've done as opposed to what they will do is always a gamble. But the Sox are in a win-now mode after hoisting the Commissioner's Trophy and can't roll into 2019 equipped only with in-house options such as Ryan Brazier or Matt Barnes. New York Yankees, LHP Dallas Keuchel. New York Yankees bolstered their staring rotation by re-upping veterans J.A. Happ and CC Sabathia and acquiring James Paxton from the Seattle Mariners. That said, the Yanks could use another ace-level arm as they seek to challenge the arch-rival Red Sox for American League East supremacy. Probably, New York will shop from the middle or bottom shelves. But general manager Brian Cashman could go big and throw money at lefty Dallas Keuchel, who owns a career 2.45 ERA at Yankee Stadium. Is it likely? No. Would it make the already powerful Yankees measurably more dangerous? You bet. Tampa Bay Rays, DH Edwin Encarnacion. Tampa Bay Rays need power after finishing 27th in baseball with 150 home runs in 2018. The Mariners have a powerful veteran in designated hitter Edwin Encarnacion, whom they acquired in a three-team trade from the Cleveland Indians. The Rays were involved in that trade, suggesting they had an open dialogue with the Mariners and general manager Jerry Dipoto. Encarnacion hit 32 homers with an .810 ops last season. Seattle is looking to flip him, as MLB Network's John Palmorosi reported on MLB Network's Hot Stove in late December. This feels like a match, especially if the Rays are willing to take on all or most of the $21.7 million Encarnacion has owed in 2019, $5 million buyout for 2020. Toronto Blue Jays, RHP Jeremy Hellick's on the Toronto Blue Jays have accepted their status as bottom feeders in the top-heavy AL East. A rebuild is nigh. Like the Orioles, they need to add arms to eat innings and possibly build enough value to bring back prospects in July. In December, the Jays agreed to a one-year, $3.5 million deal with right-hander Matt Shoemaker. They could likewise pursue righty Jeremy Hellickson, who rebounded from a rough 2017, 5.43 ERA to post a 3.45 ERA in 91.1 innings for the Washington Nationals in 2018. Manuel Bale Seneda, Associated Press. Chicago White Sox, of Bryce Harper. The up-and-coming Chicago White Sox are ready to make a move in the thin, winnable American League Central. They've been connected all off-season to Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, but general manager Rick Hahn threw a wet blanket on the idea that the team might sign both players. Having two commitments of the magnitude they're gonna require on the same roster probably limits your flexibility and might not be the strongest move for us long-term, Hahn told reporters. If they're choosing one, they should opt for Harper. Their outfield depth chart is much thinner than the left side of the infield, where shortstop Tim Anderson and third baseman Yolmer Sanchez deserve opportunities to develop. Cleveland Indians. Of INF Marvin Gonzalez. The Indians remain the favorites in the AL Central but need to bolster their outfield. None of the Tribe's projected outfield starters, Jordan Luplow, .631 ops in 2018, Leonys Martin, .747, and Tyler Naquin, .651, inspires confidence. The Indians don't have the budget to pursue Harper, but they could make a play for versatile free agent Marvin Gonzalez. After hearing down-ballot MVP votes in 2017, Gonzalez's production dipped last season. But he's logged big league innings at every non-pitching position except catcher and would give Cleveland roster flexibility and valuable postseason experience from his days with the Houston Astros. Detroit Tigers. 2B Logan Forsythe. The rebuilding Detroit Tigers aren't going to make any splashy signings this offseason. They also own some albatross contracts. Hey, Miguel Cabrera, they can't unload. That said, they could use depth at second base. Logan Forsythe could likely be head on a cheap, short-term deal after a bad 2018, .232 AVG, .604 ops. The 32-year-old hit 20 homers as recently as 2016 and would bring veteran acumen to club in transition. It wouldn't be the most exciting move, but that's the nature of a rebuild. Kansas City Royals. RHP Sergio Romo. Like Detroit, the Kansas City Royals are in rebuild mode and won't be players for any of the offseason's top targets. Buying out second baseman Whit Merrifield's arbitration years is probably as big as it's going to get. They do need help in the bullpen, however, after their relief corps finished 29th in baseball with a 5.04 ERA in 2018, a number of interesting relievers remain unsigned, including Sergio Romo. Romo nailed down 25 saves for the Rays last season and enjoyed some success in the opener role, an experiment KC could embrace. If you're destined for a losing season, why not try some stuff along the way? Minnesota Twins. LHP Tony Sip. The Minnesota Twins have made some significant moves this offseason, including signing veteran slugger Nelson Cruz to buttress the lineup. They need pitching, though. In 2018, Twins starters ranked 22nd with a 4.54 ERA. Twins relievers ranked 22nd with a 4.45 ERA. A closer such as Kimbrel is probably beyond the Twinkies, but the club could target left-hander Tony Sip, who posted a career-best 1.86 ERA with 9.8 strikeouts per 9 innings for the Astros last season. John Bazemore, Associated Press. Houston Astros. CJT. Real Muto. The Astros catching depth chart is fronted by Robinson Chirinos, .222 AVG in 2018, and Max Stassi, .226. For a club with championship aspirations, that won't cut it. Which brings us to JT. Real Muto, the top available catcher. Real Muto is under contract with the Miami Marlins, who asked for outfielder Kyle Tucker or right-hander Forrest Whitley in a swap, as Morosi reported in December. Those are the Astros' top two prospects. It'd be a lot to cough up, but the Astros are in an unambiguous win-now window. Real Muto is arguably the best catcher in baseball and controllable through 2020. This simply makes sense. Los Angeles Angels. LHP Dallas Keuchel. Los Angeles Angels need to build a winning team if they have any hope of keeping superstar Mike Trout on the roster beyond 2020, when he can become a free agent. To that end, they need to improve a suspect starting rotation that finished 19th with a 4.34 ERA in 2018. Probably, any additions the Halos make will be of the ho-hum variety. Alternately, they could go for broke and sign the southpaw Keuchel. Keuchel, entering his age 31 season, carries risk, but he eclipsed 200 innings in 2018 and reeled in American League Cy Young Award honors in 2015. Prying him from the division rival Astros would be a headline-grabbing coup for Los Angeles. Oakland Athletics, LHP Gio Gonzalez. After winning 97 games in 2018, the Oakland Athletics will look to build on their success in typical fashion. That means passing on the biggest names and looking for bargains late in the offseason. Could their strategy lead to a reunion with left-hander Gio Gonzalez, who began his MLB career with Oakland in 2008? It could. Gonzalez posted a 4.21 ERA between the Nationals and Brewers last season and is entering his age 33 season. On the other hand, he finished 6th in National League Cy Young Award balloting in 2017. In this tepid market, the A's could probably grab him for an affordable price and boost a starting rotation that will be without ace Sean Manaea, who is out indefinitely following shoulder surgery. Seattle Mariners, LHP Zach Duke. The Mariners have spent the offseason jettisoning pieces as they position for a rebuild or at least a retool. They have uncertainty in the back end of the bullpen, however, and could use an experienced arm to steady their relief corps. Assuming the price is right, the M's could look toward a reunion with veteran lefty Zach Duke, who posted a solid 3.01 FIP with Minnesota and Seattle last season while striking out 51 in 52 innings. Assuming Duke is amenable to a short-term fact, he could be a fine addition to the Mariners' unsettled pen. Texas Rangers, see Nick Hendley. The Texas Rangers have made a number of ancillary additions, including to this starting rotation, even as they move forward with a seemingly inevitable rebuild. They could use a veteran catcher, however, as they wait to see if sophomore Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's future is as a super utility player or a full-time catcher. Jeff Mathis and his .544 ops aren't enough. Nick Hendley is no one's idea of elite, but he hit 10 home runs in 96 games for the San Francisco Giants last season and is an experienced, reliable receiver who could bridge the gap on the cheap. Ezra Shaw, Getty Images. Atlanta Braves, LHP Madison Bumgarner. The Atlanta Braves are mostly set. The roster that won the National League East last season returns largely intact with a number of young players ready to take the next step. Still, the Braves could use a postseason tested ace as they look to go from intriguing upstarts to World Series contenders. Aces don't get much more postseason tested than Madison Bumgarner, who carved his October legend with the Giants. San Francisco might hang on to Mad Bum at least until the July 31st non-waiver trade deadline, but Atlanta should make every effort to reel in the Hickory, North Carolina native with chips from a loaded farm system. Miami Marlins, 1B Mark Reynolds. After initiating a fire sale last offseason, the Marlins are looking to go lean in 2019. Big contracts aren't in the offing, and any trades will send established talent out of South Beach in exchange for cost-controlled players and prospects. Still, the Fish need bats in the infield, even after signing Neil Walker to a one-year, $2 million deal, per Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. Veteran Mark Reynolds could provide further depth after posting an .803 ops in 2018. He wouldn't hinder the Marlins' plan to slash payroll and get younger, but would add another veteran bat to an inexperienced lineup. New York Mets, LHP Wade Miley. Despite making some big splashes in free agency this offseason, the New York Mets are likely out on Machado and Harper, as general manager Brodie Van Wagenen and owner Jeff Wilpon indicated to The Athletic's Tim Britton. The Mets could use insurance in the starting rotation, however, given their recent history of injury issues. An ace-level arm such as Keuchel seems like a pipe dream, but New York could target Miley, who will draw interest from other teams but would offer needed insurance and depth. Hellickson would also fit the bill. Philadelphia Phillies, INF Manny Machado. The Philadelphia Phillies have been connected to virtually every top free agent at some point this offseason. According to Todd Zolecki of MLB.com, they're very much in on either Harper or Machado, though the negotiations could drag past their February 12 reporting date for pitchers and catchers. Of the two, Machado makes more sense. The superstar infielder expressed admiration for the Phillies in July, while Harper reportedly doesn't care for the city of brotherly love. It will come down to dollars and cents. But if the Phils want one marquee guy, it should be Machado. Washington Nationals, with Bryce Harper. As for Harper, he could end up any number of places, as discussed. Or he could end up right where he started. Along with the Phillies and White Sox, the Nationals are a plausible landing spot, as Zielecki noted. The Nats already made a seismic signing this offseason when they inked left-hander Patrick Corbin for 6 years and $140 million. They also have burgeoning outfielders Juan Soto and Victor Robles. But as Harper marinates on the market, a reunion with the only franchise he's ever known becomes increasingly likely. Watson, Getty Image. Chicago Cubs, with Bryce Harper. No, this probably isn't happening. If you believe Chicago Cubs third baseman Chris Bryant, it definitely isn't happening, per Jordan Bastian of MLB.com. But maybe. The Cubs are 2 seasons removed from their cruise-busting 2016 World Series win and were bounced in the NL wildcard game in 2018. They play in arguably the deepest division in baseball. They haven't made any game-changing moves this offseason. The longer Harper languishes without a contract, the more you wonder if Theo Epstein and co. will be motivated to swoop in with an offer. Cincinnati Reds, CJT. Real Muta. Cincinnati Reds have gone from rebuilding also-rans to bona fide playoff hopefuls this offseason via a flurry of moves that added veteran pieces to the outfield and starting rotation. They can't stop now, and apparently they don't intend to. Hence the recent rumor that the Reds and Marlins had made progress on a trade for catcher JT Real Muto, though the two sides were reportedly apart on prospects, per FanCred's John Heyman. Heyman cited other suitors, including the Braves, Astros and Rays, but the fact Cincinnati is this deep in the mix proves it is intent on competing in 2019. Milwaukee Brewers, LHP Madison Bumgarner. Just as the Braves would benefit from a playoff-tested ace, so could the Brewers. The Brew Crew advanced to Game 7 of the National League Championship Series in 2018 but could use some proven muscle atop the rotation that posted a so-so 3.92 ERA last season. On January 7, Morosi reported the Brewers and Giants had substantive communication regarding Bumgarner. San Francisco may hang on to its ace until at least the July 31 non-waiver trade deadline, but Milwaukee should keep asking. Pittsburgh Pirates, SS Jose Iglesias. The Pittsburgh Pirates have a gaping hole at shortstop, where in-house options Eric Gonzalez and Kevin Newman won't do. The Bucks are also apparently determined to compete in a tough division despite their limited resources. Signing Machado obviously isn't on the table. But Pittsburgh could pivot to Jose Iglesias, a plus defender entering his age 29 season who hit .269 with 39 extra base hits and 15 steals last season for the Tigers. The Pirates generally look for bargains, and Iglesias could be exactly that. St. Louis Cardinals, INF. With Marvin Gonzalez. The St. Louis Cardinals made their biggest offseason move when they acquired first baseman Paul Goldschmidt in a trade with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've made significant signings since, including left-handed reliever Andrew Miller. Probably, the Cards are finished making waves, at least for now. Then again, St. Louis may want insurance in case Dexter Fowler repeats his .180 average in 90 games. If so, the Redbirds could zero in on Gonzalez, who could become the everyday right fielder or float around as a super utility asset. David J. Phillip, Associated Press. Arizona Diamondbacks, RHP James Shields. So far the Snakes have fallen. After winning a wild-card slot in 2017, the D-backs missed the dance last season and now appear headed for a tear-down after trading Goldschmidt and making no serious noise in free agency. More than anything, Arizona needs innings eaters as it figures out what remaining assets to keep and what assets to trade. Lefty Robbie Ray should certainly be on the block come July, if not sooner. In the meantime, the Diamondbacks should go after low-cost options such as veteran James Shields, who surpassed 200 innings in 2018 with a workmanlike 4.53 ERA and won't command more than a short-term deal. Colorado Rockies, CJT. Real Muto. Colorado Rockies have made 2 straight postseason forays but have a desperate need behind the dish, where Chris Ionetta and his .224 average top the depth chart, followed by Tony Wolters .170 and Tom Murphy .226. The Rockies haven't featured heavily in Real Muto rumors, but they should. Colorado plays in a winnable division, and Real Muto's already impressive numbers could soar at Coors Field. The Rockies shouldn't decimate their farm system, but now is not the time to be shy about making a move. Los Angeles Dodgers, LHP. Tony Sip. The Los Angeles Dodgers signing of outfielder A.J. Pollock essentially ended their theoretical pursuit of Harper. LA, which lost the last 2 World Series, is essentially set at every position. On the other hand, you can never have too much relief pitching. If the Dodgers snapped up Sip and slotted him in front of closer Kenley Jansen, who is recovering from heart surgery, and alongside righty setup man Pedro Baez and Joe Kelly, they could have an elite bullpen. Harper would have been nice, but this may be the more pragmatic play. San Diego Padres, INF. Manny Machado. San Diego Padres are no one's idea of a juggernaut. They haven't featured in many notable rumors this offseason. Until now, according to Heyman, the Padres have checked in on both Machado and Harper. Might they be the out-of-nowhere dark horse this slow-moving offseason was waiting for? It could be more smoke than fire. The Friars refinanced their debt and have the option of loosening their purse strings, as Kevin Ace of the San Diego Union Tribune noted. Either Harper or Machado would make an impact, but Machado would fill a more pressing need on the suspect left side of the infield. San Francisco Giants, INF. But Marvin Gonzalez. The Giants are stuck between a rebuild and a retool. It's probably going to be a rebuild after a disappointing 2018 season, but they haven't made the call just yet. In the meantime, San Francisco needs to address an outfield that's populated by a mix of unproven youngsters who could spell disaster. It's almost assuredly out on Harper, but a jack of all trades such as Gonzalez would fit the modus operandi of new executive Faranzati and allow SF the option of keeping him or flipping him come July. All statistics and contract information courtesy of Baseball Reference unless otherwise noted.